Hi everybody, it's me, Carrie, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Hello. So, I am doing my thing, you know how I am, trying to get to my page. Something is definitely going on though with my tablet, I think. It doesn't want me to go there. I'm not sure why. Let me switch over to the right page. So as I'm waiting for some of you to pop on, you're going to see I am back to the apple harvest because there's only a couple of days left for you to get these limited edition dies. And I don't want you to miss them. They are so amazingly cool. Gosh, I don't know what is going on. My tablet is like, look at that. It's like nothing. So hi, whoever just popped on. I am not sure what is going on. Okay, my tablet is acting goofy. I do not know why. So I'm going to have to play with this when I'm not live. That's all I can do. So I won't be able to see your questions or comments, but please do still say hello and tell me where you're from and all of that good stuff. And please let me know. So as I was saying, this the apple harvest dies, there's only a couple days left to get them. So you might want to grab them. I'm going to be using this one right here. I've also used this one. I've pre-cut it, and a couple of the flowers. I've done those too, but I've pre-done stuff because what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to use your blends to color. Now, I know for some of you, this is not news. This is not, you know, like, okay, we know. But some of you do not know how to use blends. So, hiya, Jane. So I'm going to zoom in here for you and let you guys see this. Now, I can't see how well you can see because I have to keep standing up to do that. But I'm going to start with the Flirty Flamingo in light. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color to these little apple blossoms here. Because as you may remember, we grew up with a lot of apple trees in my yard. Not that that's what you're supposed to remember, but apple blossoms do have just a palish pink shade to them most of the time. They're just sort of it's not fully pink usually. So yeah, when I was growing up, we had fruit trees everywhere. It was so awesome. I grew up, I don't know how you guys grew up, but when I grew up, we had an acre of land, which isn't like ginormous. It's not like a farm, but we were kind of sort of in the city-ish area, a city where most people had the average size lawn, but our street, everybody had at least an acre. So my mom had a huge garden on the back half, and we had apple trees, pear trees, plum trees, cherry trees, and we had two different kinds of apple trees. We had like the green apples and red apples. We had grapevines, raspberry bushes. I mean, we almost never came in for lunch. So that's probably why this stamp set is so much a part of my heart. So I'm using the pointy end this time to sort of fill in parts of this branch. I think I grabbed the dark one. Yep, this is Granny Apple Green Dark, and I'm just kind of going along the edge. I'm not panicking about it being perfect. You know how I feel about perfection and its overratedness. And I'm not even going to be that fancy with it because I kind of like it to have an artsy feel. So don't let blends or coloring in general scare you. It's actually easy peasy. You just got to play with it. It's like when you were in school and you were learning how to color inside the lines. Not that you have to. There is nothing wrong with coloring outside the lines, in my personal opinion. Now I'm taking the lighter and I'm using the brush end, and I'm going to kind of do little swirly motions with it. Very little because the stem is very small, and that's going to sort of blend that dark. And there'll be places where I can't swirl very good, like right here where it gets a little bit tricky. And then I'm going to come down in here. It's a little bit easier with the leaf, but when you swirl it a little bit, it sort of blends out that darker. Can you see how the leaf is got a little bit more character? So I like to do the outside edges, then get my swirl going. There you go. So very, very pretty. I'm going to use, this is an ivory. It's one of the, do I have a number? This is the ivory one. It's like a skin tone color. You know, we have all those multiple skin tone colors and shades from like a cream to a brown. So this was one of the first one that came out. And I'm just using that just to color in the apple seeds. And then I'm going to add a little bit right here and right here, because you know, apples tend to have a little bit of brown patchy stuff over by the stems, right? Now I'm going to use the dark real red, and I'm going to go around the edges. I can see where this one bled a little bit, so you do have to be careful. They will bleed. So you got to be careful here. And just, but you know what? I'm not panicked about it because, oh, see, that went too far. Because it's an art thing. You know, if it isn't perfect, it's all right. I can deal. So now that kind of covered up the brown right there where I just did it. I'm really shaky today for some reason. Still have high level of stress going on in my life. So I'm going to take a little bit darker. This is SU 500. Do not have a name for it, but it's another one of those dark colored blends. So I'm going to add that in here to kind of darken that up a little bit where it kind of disappeared. Okay. That is not well done. So again, I'm still using the light real red. And just, if you're having trouble with the brush like I am today, honestly, you could use the tapered edge. But you see, I'm just not panicking because it's going to come out pretty no matter what happens to it. It'll still look good. So I'm coloring all of this in with the real red. Be a little bit more careful this time around that browny area. And then I'm just going to take and just do a couple of flecks like in there. Okay, it still isn't very even. So I'm going to go back to the ivory and I'm going to sort of blend that out in my little circles. So you can see how it kind of lightened it up here a little bit when I blended it out. Now I'm going to take the, do I have the right one? That's the light. Maybe I was using the dark all along and didn't realize it. I think I might have been. Thought it looked a little dark. I'm going to add a little color here, just for Stampin' Up! Added some shading. Just kind of squiggling along. And I'm not super happy about that red that peeked through. So we actually have a color lifter. It doesn't lift the color completely, but it'll help to lighten this up. It takes a little bit, but it will lighten up where it got dark here. And sometimes, you know, when an apple is cut, you can see pink, you know, in there. So I'm not panicking about that. It depends on the kind of apple you have, but I'm okay with that little bit of pinkness in there. Then I'm going to take this and I'm actually going to just put a little line there to lighten it up, because you know, apples are not a solid color. They're just not. If you wanted to, you could take the pointy end of the brown and you could add some spots. It's not going to be real noticeable, but you know, sometimes apples have little, like, you know, light and dark. So basically, even though it doesn't look very pretty, I'm kind of sad about that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out so I can finish putting the card together. So it will lay on here just beautifully. And I like that it's going to cut out most of that too. So let me get that cut for you. So talk amongst yourselves. Hope you guys are doing well. The weather in Michigan is chilly, but it is fall. And according to the news guy this morning, we have had one of the warmest Septembers. So I guess we should be happy. I don't know. I think fall is wonderful. And I'm actually, I know, don't be shocked, but because I'll say something different in a little bit, but I'm actually kind of excited about snow. I know, it's weird. Okay, so now let me slide this on here so I can show you guys what I did with these. I cut all the leaves and stuff out, and see how I just sort of squiggled the ink color on there before I cut it out. But I've decided that this one is a little light. So I'm going to grab the dark and I'm just going to add in some color to it. Not a lot, just like that. And that's what's cool about these, is you can play. Now I've got the lighter one and I'm going to do my circle thing, where it's definitely darkening it. But when it dries, you will see that it sort of blends it out a little bit. Okay, and so that's where all the flowers came from too. But on the flowers, I've added some pink. Here's a couple more leaves that I've done. And I'm going to hold this in my hand and make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, I think I saw Pam on there. Hi, Pam. Okay, so I am just edging on here. Super simple, because this is an apple blossom, and like I said, they've always had a little bit of pink highlight. I'm really not, like, I had a little line go there. I don't know how well you can see that, but I had a little line go there. That's okay. It really, I mean, it's, you know, there's variegation in them, so you can't really mess this up too much. You can't. I could make a real disaster of this, but I'm going to pretend that I wouldn't. Then I'm going to take the center, just like these, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color going out like that. Okay? So, now I have my pieces, and I have another piece, or my other pieces. Here's the big apple that I did earlier. And now I have some other pieces. Oh, there's another leaf. This piece was cut with, do you guys remember I showed you guys this little cutout, this little thingy made with this? And then I showed you how the leftover piece that came inside there makes a good edge. So that's what I did with this. I just made an edge, and that's going to go on to my Real Red cardstock, which is, hold on, let me grab my good ruler. This is cut at 7.5, so it's 5.5 by 7.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So 4 1/4 here. So you can do it like that, cut it at 7.5, or cut it, like leave it at 8.5 by 5.5, fold it in half, and then just cut off an inch, which is probably what I did. So now I am going to add this piece of basic white on the inside. And of course it is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. I think I need to zoom out a little bit for you. There we go. For the inside of the card, because the Real Red will be too light for you guys to see what's going on. So I'm going to put that in there. My lighting, again, I'm guessing it's the weather or the different time of year, but the room seems really dark to me, and all of my lights are working, so I don't know what's up. Then I cut a piece of Designer Series paper. This is from that multi-paper pack that's in the big thick one. Not the plaid one, but the other one. That's in the July to December catalog. So I'm going to add that, and again, it's cut longer than it needs to be. And I am going to put that right to the edges. Oh, it looks like I cut it pretty close. So I'm going to squeeze it on there. There's a very slight red edge to it, at least on the outer edge. I'm trying to pull that down because it's not even. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. There we go. Okay, so there's the inside of the card. Now this is going to go on here like so, but I want to have some ribbon on it, and I don't want the ribbon to go back here. So I want to put it onto this basic white. Oh, and I stamped everything in the Memento Black before I started coloring. You want to use Memento Black when you're doing your blends markers, and use, I thought I tied a bow for this. Maybe not. And you want to use the stays on when you're doing like a watercoloring. So, now I'm just going to put a little bit of this Stampin' Seal on the back of my ribbon. Not a lot, just enough. You know, this stuff, adhesive doesn't always want to stick to ribbon. It's just stubborn. So, it doesn't always want to stick. So I'm putting this right on the end here, really close to the edge, but leaving myself a little bit of space. And this is our beautiful, this ribbon is so pretty. It is called, it's in real red, obviously, and it is called Mini Ruffled Ribbon. And I'm hoping you guys can see that it is ruffly, and it's very soft. I'm not sure what it's made of. It feels very silky. So now I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. Again, I like to make sure my tails stay down. So put a stronger adhesive there and there. I hope I'm in frame. I think I am. And then I'm going to glue this down. I hope I didn't put the glue over too far. I might have. I'm a little worried about that now. Okay. So I'm going to put a little more there so that sticks down better. And then I am going to slide this over. I'm going to keep a little bit of a red edge there. Not a lot, just a smidgen of a red edge. Okay, hang on a minute. This is over too far. What's going on? That's a little better. Okay. Just a smidgen. And I'm going to see if oh, I didn't mess up. Yay. So see, doesn't that look better on the inside than seeing part of the ruffle hanging off? I mean, you know, it's just easier. So there's that. Now I'm just going to put on my pieces that I have done, and I am going to do them with Stampin' Dimensionals. I also did a the thanks for your kindness, which is in the Apple Harvest stamp set. And this die is from, I don't know, one of the ones I use all the time. You guys probably even know without me telling you. Here it is. From the Stitched Stylish Shapes dies. Okay, it's that one, the big one, the bigger of the small ones. So, like I said, use it all the time. So we're going to get a little crazy with some Stampin' Dimensionals, because I want this card to have some va-va-voom to it. I don't know if that really counts for apples, but we're going to say that it does, okay? So I've got 4 on there. And you see that the blends do bleed. If you're new to using blends or any alcohol markers, they do bleed through. So you want to be sure, like I had a piece of the grid paper underneath for me. And then this one I am going to stick underneath, but I still want it to be showing. So I'm just going to do it enough so that it hides under there. And this one's going to be flat. It's like it's hanging behind. And I know what you're thinking. You would not have an apple half cut off hanging on your tree. Well, you know, I didn't say it was real. I said it was artsy. So I'm going to set that just so the branch sort of peeks underneath. Now you can see I did this branch in green and I did the other one in a brown. So I'm gonna see if I can add that real quick. Just add some color to that a little bit of brown in there. Just a touch, and hope I don't mess up. So it kind of matches a little bit better. There. That's a little better. All right. So now I'm going to take some of these cuties and let me do my thanks first. So I want my thanks to hang off a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on dimensionals, but I'm going to put it where it's going to be tucked under here. Okay. So I don't want to put any dimensionals on this part. And you see, yes, I messed it up. Happens to me all the time. That's why I'm so happy Stampin' Up! Sells two-sided cardstock, right? Because we all make mistakes, and I am living proof of that. Okay, so I hope you're all still there since I can't see you. Slide that under a little bit. Set that right there. Okay, so now see it'll still open. Oh, bummer. I'm going to have to put something on there because you can see my boo-boo. So don't do that if you're going to have it hanging over. I'll fix it later. All right. So now I want to add these pretty little flower blossoms to it. And I'll show you my original one in a little bit. So I'm going to put the big one right up here. And it is not dimensional. I don't want it to go outside of the envelope. So I'm going to set that one right there. And I'm going to stick another one. Oops. It's a little much. I'm going to put that one right under there. And then this one I am going to put up on dimensionals. I'm going to use a mini dimensional for this one because it's pretty tiny in there in the center. Probably even needs like a half a dimensional. Probably. All right, can you guys see how the dimensional is sticking out a little bit from that? I'm hoping you guys can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my snips, lift up the petals, and snip. And then there's just a little bit right there. Just a little bit. And then make sure you clean your snips because they're going to be all sticky now. Now I'm going to put that one right there. Okay, so that looks really cute. We're going to add some leaves to our flowers here. And I've got some bling, of course. Can't go without bling. So I'm going to put some of this over here. And I think I'll do a small one up there too. Not sure how many I have. So, come on. There we go. And like I said, I don't want it to go out. I want to make sure it can fit in the envelope. So this one is kind of a big one for these flowers. So let me grab some of that for this one. I am actually going to tuck it under this way. So it kind of looks like it's coming out from that branch and going over that flower. And then this little one, let's see if I can get it to stick. This little one's going to go right there with this one. Okay, so now we've got the basic card, and of course it needs some bling. And here's what's fun is these iridescent rhinestones, they're iridescent, so they're like multicolored. But what I found is that they kind of have a pink hue to them when you put them with like pinky stuff. So I am going to use a big one on the big flower right there. And then a medium one, whoops, on this one, and on this one. Look, I have pop dots on my fingers, pop dot backings. They're everywhere. If you're a crafter, they are part of our lives, right? Then I'm going to put a little one on this flower right here because I don't want it to feel left out and not special. And now I have too even of a number, right? So I need another one. So I'm going to grab another small one. And come on. And I'm just going to put it right there. So there you go. There is my card for today, showing you how to use the blends. And even though that did bleed and I don't like the way it bled, it's okay. I can deal with it. And here is one I did with watercolored pencils instead of the blends. So you can see the difference. Watercolored pencils and the blends, which actually, if you look up here, the blends look good. But that was definitely a boo-boo on my part. So anyway, I hope you liked it. And I hope that you will share this video. If you do, please make sure that you comment below that you have shared so that you can be in my drawing. And this is the last video for this month. So share, because there haven't been a whole lot of people. And so your odds are really, really good. So share and comment below that you shared. Also, if you're seeing this video from somebody's share or from my my YouTube channel, which is also MemoryInkers, please, if you want to watch me live, you need to go to facebook.com/MemoryInkers. If you want to shop, it's MemoryInkers.com to get to my Stampin' Up! Website, MemoryInkers@gmail.com if you have questions. And if you are ordering before the end of August 2022, please use my hostess code 9YJHAKEH. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Thanks for sharing, Diane. Thanks for sharing, Gail. Bye.